emerging technologies, and Quara blockchain is one of the subsidiaries initiatives of the company. Saudi Arabia recently have been focusing on emerging technologies. Blockchain is one of them. Very interesting projects led by the government, by the private sector as well. Joining me in this discussion, Dr. Arwa Althagafi, the Innovative Director of TABADUL.
Thank you, Abdelrahman. First of all, good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure today to be between experts and investors. And I think after Dubai, it's open, and this is my third time visiting Dubai. It's more becoming more workout, monthly workout. So. As Innovation and Research Director in TABADUL, I just give a brief about my journey, how I start in terms of blockchain, how I start my journey with the blockchain. Actually, once I working in the private and public sector, giving me a chance to find out the gap between the gap in the technology itself from private sector perspectives and the public sectors. Once I said the public as an assistant professor in information system in Taiba universities, and also I'm working as an innovation research director in TABADUL. TABADUL is actually as a logistic tech company responsible for all or facilitate all export and import that of goods that come to Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Doctor. So you've been in the academia, you've been in the public sector. Could you explain how was the landscape of emerging technologies a few years ago, and how the things have evolved recently?
Actually, Abdelrahman, last 2 years, it was a fire in Saudi Arabia in terms of using a blockchain, starting with establishing a first blockchain lab in Saudi Arabia at Taiba Valley. These labs give the opportunities to researchers and investors and a governmental entity even to develop use cases with the dreamers, with the developers. So once it comes from that side, you bringing all the ecosystem together to develop such a product. This is a big or massive improvement in terms of bringing people together. This is from academic perspective. Also, we have running different programs in terms of our awareness, in terms of using a blockchain, not only from a blockchain lab. Also, there is awareness from Communication and Information Technology, the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. They're running annual program for talent people to develop or learn about blockchain. Like 2 months ago, I have a funny chat with my nephew. He said, "How to be a billionaire?" One of another, if he said, "You just do a blockchain." They don't know what kind. They just hear about about Bitcoin. They don't know how the concept. They don't know how this is work. So basically, once you know Saudi Arabia, like we said 3 years ago or 2 years ago, the concept of blockchain, it's only about Bitcoin, the mix between the blockchain and all about Bitcoin. But the governmental have the pressure or they put a pressure in doing programs for talent people, even for the early stage in this schools, from 11 years old. They running different programs, and even talent center. They coordinate with the blockchain lab to running like many lessons or sessions that running monthly to develop the concept of blockchains. And also the researchers as a blockchain lab, the researchers, they have a gap between what is going on in the market and what kind of use cases that can develop. They have the initiation or the initiative to do or to develop their own skills in blockchain, but they don't link with the market. So bringing all these entities together improve and raise the awareness about blockchain, especially once I talk about research and academia. And especially, as I said, once I become from between private and public sector, I see how it's the private sector look at the public sector in terms of deploying a blockchain. This has given me opportunities also to run or initiate different program to facilitate blockchain implementation.
That was actually some great added value to the market, where you connect talents, raising an awareness. The training programs that were introduced by the Ministry of Telecommunication as well as the private sector, which actually links the academia graduates with the market immediately. But also on the other side, there's the government act on blockchain startups. We've seen a lot of collaboration and partnerships between the central banks, between the Saudi customs, with international companies. Could you tell me about the initiatives that you have in the supply chain or logistics industry?
As I said before, blockchain is just a concept, and there is a lack of understanding of the concept. There is a challenging of the regulations. But now, even for SAMA or Saudi Central Bank and Capital Market Authority, they launched many initiatives. One of them, it's a fintech. I should mention that before, the fintech program that's running annually to support the startups and facilitate the role of the fintech technologies and growth in Saudi Arabia. Like 2 years ago, in the past, starting SAMA. SAMA opened the door for 10 companies related to payments in Saudi Arabia, or digital payment in Saudi Arabia. Start having STC Pay, even Apple Pay. All these companies facilitate the payment, digital payment in Saudi Arabia. So now, once we talk about logistic, and even the logistic, some of part of what I do in TABADUL, they have a challenging in using paper paste process. They losing a lot of documentation, costs and time, and all the journey for the logistic, how the whole journey it's take. So basically now in Saudi Arabia, it's become more easy with SAMA and Capital Market Authority in terms of regulations. And even on yesterday, they have experimental regulatory environment that allowed to the public and private sector to implement emerging technologies based in the framework that shows the IPs, intellectual property. They show the data sharing mechanism. They show overall the global and the local entities inside, how they can coordinate easily. So for my experience and what's challenging in TABADUL, once I back to the case in TABADUL, as I said, like 1 year ago, we thought we face a challenging, but now since on yesterday, and TABADUL was a part of this nominated company that do a pilot case for integrating the private and public sector to easy accelerate the implementation for the blockchain. So connected custom, connected the trader, connected the custom broker to facilitate the logistic say implementation.
And this goes beyond more than that. As you have mentioned, the sandbox developed by the central bank and the Capital Market Authority as well have many graduates with such an innovative fintech product. We have buy now, pay later based on blockchain. So many payment companies that it's based on blockchain as well. When it comes to supply chain, we have noticed the project called Aber between UAE and Saudi, where they have developed a token. It's a utility token for exportation and importation between the two countries. So the blockchain, I believe, would facilitate and ease in the process of making business and dealing between
Exactly.
the two countries. But coming back on the market itself, if I'm an investor that coming from outside Saudi, how do you believe I would benefit from such an emerging and evolving economy, especially with the ambitious vision of 2030?
What we see now is Saudi Arabia, it's booming in terms of emerging technologies. As I said, regulation is not a matter as long as they accelerating. Even during the pandemic, they launch a fintech accelerator and bring researchers and fintech data regulation together to facilitate the blockchain. I mean, here is not a matter of having a pandemic, it is still growth, there is a growth. Once you back, as you said, Aber is between Emirates and Saudi Arabia. It's just to open the door between the two countries in terms of using a public or using a bank. So this is give an hint or side that is not really hard for a foreigner to start or investing in Saudi Arabia as long as they have their local, they opening locally in Saudi Arabia. In terms of talents we have, in terms of the framework as well, I said, and even in terms of SEMA, they are open now and still processing while we grow in blockchain adaptation in Saudi Arabia.
It's very fascinating. And I believe I've been in the market in Saudi for about 5 years now. It's a very booming market. I'm not being biased here, but when it comes to payment and technology and the infrastructure for adopting new technologies and such disruptive businesses, Saudi can be the leading country in the region implementing blockchain projects. And we have seen SAMA and as well TABADUL partnering up with Consensus and Tezos, such big names, Ripple as well, in an approach of developing the banking system with deposits using blockchain as well. So when it comes to the challenges that we have for starting a startup in Saudi, do you see there's a huge lack of talent? Do you see there's a huge lack of maybe resources as well? Is there a major challenge that would prevent me from starting a business in Saudi related to blockchain?
Actually, yes, we do have a challenging, but is not as before in terms of talent or shortage of talent. Communications and the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, they running blockchain incubator and accelerator, they targeted this year 100 MVPs that come across the sectors. After this incubator come like 35 MVPs, which shows there is a talent, but some regulations that was challenging. But as I said also on yesterday, they start beginning. That means by the time even the percentage, or let's say the factors that eliminate the growth, now it's becoming more pushing to the positive side. But still we have a shortage of talent. The government is working very hard to running different programs, even in different ministries. I work with the Ministry of Agriculture. They developing a use cases and especially have a unit that related to emerging technologies in terms of blockchain as well. Ministry of Tourism, they are also having a use case they're having a unit of blockchain that bring talent to develop some Arabian cases in terms of NFT and tokenization. This gives you insight that even the ministries, a governmental entity, they have their own unit in terms for all sectors, agriculture, ministry, education, or even, as I said, tourism. This will improve the shortage or increase the capability or talent of blockchain. And even, as I said, in the early stage, in their school, 11 years old, that means it's huge impact. Then you learn your youth how they can learn the blockchain. In terms, once I back to the startup now, I could say we are in the early stage, but we're still having MVPs, we're still having POCs. Maybe in the next 5 years, we will see more investors in the blockchain.
Thank you, Doctor. Just to sum up, you've mentioned for the next 5 years, being an innovation director at TABADUL, and also you have a very good access to the public and private market. So how do you see the market in Saudi when it comes to blockchain? Do you think that will be very developed compared to the region?
Yes, I think so. Since once we come to the technology, the most important things is the funding, talent, the framework that you have. So all these things, Saudi Arabia or our government, they put a light on it, or the light on it, in terms of even some now have funding or liquidity for like 40 billion to develop financial services in terms of using technology. This gives you a hint that the future is there. And also governmental, even in the education now, it changed the curriculum in terms of even the project that we use. For example, I've been, while I would been in as an academic, one of the things that I have to do, or my role, is to transfer the project to be a startups or to be a MVP that can have an impact in the society for using emerging technology, more specifically in blockchain. So actually using this kind of mindset or this kind of project from education or from the pool that you have educating people, transferring the project to a startup, and even governmental running different programs and accelerator. This give you more insight that we will have a huge impact in terms positively in terms of the growth of startups in blockchain, even creating more jobs, making a huge economic impact as the main pillars, as you know. So I think we are now, I don't say competing with the international, but we are in the track. While I have been here in Dubai and contacting different business owner or blockchain investors, we seen like we are in the right track. If I like before or 2 years ago, as I said, we be behind, but this 2 years we find or we see a big change in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you very much. I think we ran out of time. Just if I can get to quote you that that audience can watch the Saudi market very closely. It's gonna be there's a lot of talents that's coming thanks to the government programs that we're having. There's a lot of investment from the government first in blockchain-based projects. Thank you very much for the very innovative and insightful notes. And thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.